A good way to get to know someone is to ask them the question, tell me the story of your life, starting with your grandparents. So let me begin there. My maternal family came from south of the United States, and I'm told, although I didn't know them very well, that they were mainly educators and ministers. My grandfather on my father's side, whose name I carry, was from Scotland. His wife was from Ireland. Both went as missionaries to Argentina in 1900. In 1921, they moved with their children to Costa Rica to found the Latin America mission. While my grandfather organized evangelistic campaigns all over Latin America, my grandmother began a school and a clinic for women in her home. In 1929, this became the Hospital Clínica Bíblica and the School of Nursing. My father, Kenneth, and my Aunt Grace were sent to the States for schooling, returned with their now spouses to Costa Rica in the late 1930s to help expand the ministries of the mission and start their own families. With a great group of colleagues, these came to include the Hogar Bíblico, Campamento Roble Alto, radio stations like Faro del Caribe, Editorial Caribe, a publishing house, among others. Most of these, nearly 70 years later, like the Clínica Bíblica, are still going strong. I was born and raised in Costa Rica, also sent to the United States for higher education, first at Wheaton College and then to Harvard for a doctorate in jurisprudence and another in business administration. I wrote a life plan for myself that envisioned 3 careers. In the first 10 years, I'd be an academic. In the next 10 years, a businessman hoping to become financially independent, so that in the last 10 years, I could devote myself to public service. And these have been my careers, though in overlapping fashion. At INCAI, I was a professor and academic director from 1970 to 1976, through the Managua earthquake. During the Sandinista period, I returned as rector around the 1981 period to implement the strategy to save INCAI, which included going continental in our programs and opening a second campus in Alajuela, Costa Rica. My second career in business was mainly as a consultant and investment banker. In 1978, I joined Bain & Company, which at that time had 50 professionals in one office in Boston. Today, Bain & Company has 5,000 professionals in over 50 offices around the world. In 1983, I helped set up Bain Capital, a sister organization to Bain & Company focused on private equity. Today, it manages billions of dollars in offices also around the world. In 1993, I began my third career, moving to Costa Rica. With the help of George Lace and Matthew Meacham, we came down to Costa Rica to set up a Bain office and to start working with the family business groups of the region. Our mission was to help the leading family business groups of Central America become competitive, grow into successful multinationals, and be leaders in sustainable business practices. Although still focused on business, I began to devote more than 30% of my time and assets to nonprofit activities. In 1995, with Luis Javier Castro and Walter Kiesling Jr., we started private equity investment, creating the first Mesoamerica Fund. In 1998, Mesoamerica Partners was organized to also do M&A and consulting. Various generations of partners and our investor group have invested in more than 9 companies and done more than 60 M&A deals. Today, Mesoamerica, led by Luis Javier Castro, Leonardo Nacmias, Jose Antonio Sauma, and Reynaldo Gonzalez, manage a $300 million investment fund focused on companies throughout Latin America. We also created 2 foundations. The Mesoamerica Foundation gives a percentage of Mesoamerica profits, some of our office space, and a percentage of our professional time to nonprofits like AIDE, Vital Voices, Yo Emprendedor. The Strachan Foundation, which I set up in honor of my grandparents and parents, supports local NGOs in 3 ways: grants, seminars, and in consulting. Under the leadership of our executive director, Miguel Tello, and a family board, grants have grown to over $1 million a year, distributed as follows throughout Central America. My wife, Sandy, the original executive director, helps lead a board of aunts and cousins, which includes my daughter and son, though they live in the United States. I'm hoping that they and my grandchildren, pictured here at our annual Camp Strachan in Costa Rica, maintain their roots in the region. What has worked for me and what I try to share are 3 things. First, really be asking yourself all the time, what are the needs of my time and place? How do I serve others, not myself? How do I bring creative solutions that have an impact on others? Secondly, excellence is critical. Measure myself against the best. Whatever I do, as the Bible says, do it with all my heart, soul, and mind. In the long run, excellence really pays off. And third, focus on people. Really invest in them. Recruit irrespective of race, religion, social background. Train and empower the people you work with. Help them realize their full potential. At the end of the day, they have a lot more than you think. People are the real asset. Ultimately, they are what is left behind when you are gone. These are the legacies I feel I've inherited from my grandparents and parents and the people I've worked with. They have served me very well. I hope to leave them to my grandchildren. I recommend them to you. Thank you very much.